Welcome to this week's episode of What Your Mother Should Have Taught You. I'm your host, Monique Head, and you're in the right place if you identify as a woman of faith and you have a desire to be who you're supposed to become in love and life so that you can lay hold of the blessings that are stored up for you in heaven's inventories. If that sounds like you, then keep watching. So in this first segment, let's talk about why this keeps happening, right? Why you're pushing love away, even as you try to find it, pushing love away, even as you have a desire to experience it, right? And the primary reason for why this is happening is this concept called success intolerance. Now, this is a concept that I heard another woman talking about on a podcast. I was actually listening to a business podcast, and so when she mentioned it, I was like, "Ooh, that really resonated. I need to talk about this," but I want to talk about it from the love perspective and put my own spin on it. What I'm finding in my private coaching work with women is that this sort of success intolerance occurs when there's a belief that pursuing love, dating, having love, attracting the man you want is going to bring a bigger burden, or that you have to give up something or you have to change something about yourself. And I think it's most likely to occur when love feels really elusive. It feels like this thing that's far out in the sky and in the clouds, or something that you have to really, 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 really work hard for. And so when it's, especially in the work that we're doing, right? It's like when it happens faster, when the process begins to move faster, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I thought I was ready for this, but I wasn't expecting it to happen this fast, right? And so that's where this becomes, this happens, right? Pushing love away even as you seek it. So let's talk about what it's going to take for you to stop showing up as a saboteur and start showing up as a savage, right? Start mastering these skills. But first we have to talk about, let's talk about more of the saboteur ways. Success intolerance typically happens when the body and the brain have a difficult time processing or accepting the new success. This happens because, we only know what's familiar to us, right? And when something new comes up and is introduced to us, sometimes it can be really difficult and uncomfortable to process it, to really accept it, because we only know what's familiar to us. So a common example is, let's say you're a woman who's used to this in a relationship. You're not used to a man claiming you. You're not used to choosing men well until you see him with another woman. And so once you begin to do these things, like once you get a man in your life who's stable, who's consistent, who's interested in you, maybe, right, because you're unfamiliar with that, you begin to create chaos because you consider him boring. That's a common example. And so what's really important here is just to acknowledge how intolerance can impact, or success intolerance can impact your decision-making when it comes to love, who you're choosing, and how you're showing up for what you want in both love and life. I want you to consider some of the symptoms. So, because really love or fear and excitement are two sides of the same coin. And this is part of the reason why you might be pushing love away even as you seek it. You're excited, but you're afraid. It's like, in and out, kind of really playing the fence. And so sometimes you might find yourself deflecting. Because the brain and the body have a difficult time of really accepting this, you start to question and you start to wonder, do I really deserve this? Am I worthy of this? Can I really have it? What if the rug is pulled from under me? Or, I better mess this up and let this go before he does. And I better get the upper hand and the upper leg. It's like wanting an attractive man to notice you. And when he does, it's really uncomfortable. So what happens is that maybe there's a tendency to avoid the whole situation rather than confront it head on. Oftentimes this happens because you're operating from a core wound, or from like a trauma response, or because you're out of practice. This isn't something that you're used to. And again, it's just simply unfamiliar to you. But in order for you to begin to operate as a savage, to leave those saboteur ways alone, start accepting love, start receiving, start showing up as the woman who start showing up as the woman that you desire to be and to become. And that's going to require new skills. It's going to require a new way of thinking. The key part, according to the dictionary, when it comes to intolerance, is that intolerance is an unwillingness to. It's an unwillingness to. That's what the dictionary defined it as. But in order for you to step into a new way of being, in order for you to attract the man you want, in order for you to show up as a woman, you're proud of how you're showing up. It requires new skills. And a part of acquiring that new skills is that you have to have a willingness to practice new beliefs, a willingness to let go, and a willingness to be self-aware. The Bible says, whosoever will, come unto me, must first deny himself, or herself in this case, right? But deny yourself, take up the cross and follow after me. Those are Jesus's words, right? A willingness, a willingness, a willingness, a willingness. Now, here's the thing: if you want to remain in the saboteur way of being, you can go right ahead. But in order for you to have all the blessings that are stored up for you in heaven, particularly when it comes to love and life, you have to have a willingness to let go, a willingness to let go of the identity, a willingness to let go of the narrative that you're holding on to. Like, this is just my story. This is just the way it's going to be. You know what it is. And step into a new thing, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to save yourself. But the Bible teaches us that whoever tries to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will gain it, right? He will save it. That's a word right there. Right? When you're trying to hold on to something so tight, you're not able to receive anything. God can't do the work that he needs to do because there is an unwillingness, right? One of the things that we hear as a Christian is that, that Jesus is the perfect gentleman. Like, God is a perfect gentleman. We have choice. We have a choice. And so this is my question to you for you to consider. What are you willing to do? Number one, are you operating in success intolerance? And number two, do you have a willingness to try something new? Do you have a willingness to create a new story? Do you have a willingness to let go? Do you have a willingness to be self-aware? Do you have a willingness to step into new beliefs? This is why it's so important to prioritize self-mastery. Self-mastery is the number one tool to get anything you want in love and life. Because when you do begin to prioritize self-mastery, what happens is that you get to embody your Lord, you're able to relinquish control, and you're proud of how you're showing up, right? You show up as a smart and a healthy dater. And you're proud about how you're navigating the dating journey. And this is why I offer one-on-one coaching to help you practice self-mastery in the dating process. When you sign up for private coaching, you'll have a signature framework to apply so that you can start attracting and going on dates with men you're excited about, quality men that you can actually see yourself being with in 90 days or less. So if that sounds like something that you want to invest in for yourself, click on the link below in the description box, apply, and book a sales call, and we'll take it from there. So when you push love away, even as you try to find it, even as you seek it, that's happening because there is a lack of congruence. And the reason for why that's happening is your own self-image, a lack of faith, and the fear of the unknown. But today I want to talk about particularly self-image and what you can do to begin to re-engineer your self-image so that ultimately you have this foundation that creates this powerful synergy that allows you to fuel and be led by your hopes and your desires and what you want, and not be afraid of them, right? Because it's something you're unfamiliar with. It's something that you're not used to. Just take the pressure off the man, the dating, the love that you want, and put it back on yourself, who you are, who you desire to become, what you want, and just feeling good, like boosting your own self-perception. So one of the easiest ways that I do that is by doing my nails. Okay. So look, in the last clip, I had on the long nails, but that was too much. That was too much. I couldn't even type with it. So I have some options here. Now that I'm talking to you, I'm not going to put these on. So these were like the red version of those longer nails. So that's out. I have some nail strips and then the Old Faithful. And so now that I have actually trimmed my nails, I'm not going to use the nail strips because this is actually a French manicure and I've never done that before. So I'm going to leave that one alone. And I'm going to go with the Old Faithful. These are the kind of stiletto almond shaped type tips that I like to wear, and they look good and I feel good, right? When I do this, I feel good and therefore I look good. And from this place, I'm able to make the best decisions. This is what I call the cycle of beauty. And the cycle of beauty is important because not only does it help, not only is it like an expression of your identity or my identity in this case, but it also helps to boost my own self-perception, so that I feel worthy for what it is that I desire. I feel worthy of my desires, whether in love, life, or business. So we're going to pause for a moment while I get these nails in order and try to figure out, ooh, this is a perfect one. What color? Time, I don't even have my light on. Okay, turn the light on. So like I said, I'm going with my Old Faithful. And right now, I'm going for my Old Faithful. And right now I'm going to pick out the sizes and match what it is that I need. So bear with me for this moment. Okay, and we're back. I know that some people like to talk and do a get ready with me and do their makeup while they're talking. I said, let me see if I can do my nails when I'm talking. I'm using some acetone right now to get all the residue and oil off my nails. But yeah, so back to beauty, creating your own beauty routine, creating congruence for what it is that you want so that you don't push love away even as you seek it, but instead you feel really empowered to make your desires and your love wish come true. In this case, doing my nails is a part of the practice of self-mastery, which is one of the 6 skills that I believe every woman has to master in order to have what she wants in both love and life. And so doing my nails, because right now you see how they look, right? So doing them regularly, when I not only do I feel good and I look good, and therefore I'm able to make the best decision, which is a part of the cycle of beauty, which is something I've talked about here on this channel before. But also conquering my inner game helps to build up those inner resources that creates the foundation that's needed to overcome the resistance that happens when there's incongruence, right? When there's incongruence between what you want, in this case, love, a lifelong living relationship, someone to call your own, someone to share life with, some dates, feeling like an active and healthy, smart dater, between that and how you actually see yourself. So your own self-perception and your own self-image. This is why I encourage you to consider private coaching, because one of the things that we'll do together is recognize those patterns of incongruence that creates the intolerance that you want, that creates the success intolerance. By understanding the thoughts and the patterns and the emotions that contribute to the resistance and create the feelings that's like, I better push this thing away because it's not safe, right? You meet an attractive guy, and rather than like leaning into that, you run away from it. This better work out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2. I'm going to hold this for 23. One of the things I'm going to do after I'm done is I'm going to put it under my LED light. Is it LED or UV lamp? I don't know. But that looks good. No bubbles. That looks so good. No bubbles. No bubbles. And another reason for why having your own beauty routine really contributes to your self-perception and really boosts your self-image is that for me, when I do my own nails, because I haven't been to the salon in years. I get my pedicure at the salon, but in terms of a manicure or a full set or anything like that, gel, it's been some time because it burns. And I don't like that feeling. But there's like just this deserving sense of accomplishment when a woman is tending to herself. So I just love that feeling. Ha ha ha. Oh, that's going to be good. I'm just excited because I don't see any bubbles. I don't see any bubbles and pockets in here. And that makes me feel good. So maybe this is actually working. But something is different about this set. I will say that they're shorter. Some of them are shorter than what I'm used to. Way shorter than what I'm used to. I just like medium length, and I don't want them too long, but I don't like. I just want it to be consistent. Pause. Let me finish these. So while my hand is under the nail lamp, I also want to say that when you begin to embrace your own beauty habits, in this case, doing your nails or getting them done, not only is it a form of, self-expression, but it's also a form of self-appreciation. And this is really important because having a sense of appreciation for yourself allows you to redefine success, whatever that looks like for you when it comes to love, right? So that ultimately you get to redefine success and you can appreciate the journey. This is why I created that self-mastery concept of date to become and not for outcome. So that ultimately you can see this journey as you can see dating as a fun journey of self-exploration and self-discovery rather than some intimidating destination. And we're done with this hand. So I'm gonna put that down. On to the next. Give me a minute. I got the AC blasting. The fan on. I'm hot. Probably because I'm pregnant. At this time, at the recording of this video, I think I'm 29 weeks. And let me say this real quick. I already feel like that girl. Okay. Oh my goodness. This one has a little bubble in it. 10, 9. Look, this is getting messy, and I'm gonna keep this in here because this is the only time you can only do the nails once. So, boom, that was good. Good application. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So while the left hand is in the nail lamp, I also want to say how doing your nails as a part of your own, as you know, boosting your own beauty habits helps to break negative and limiting beliefs. So when you engage in positive self-image practice, just like this or whatever that might be for you, think of one thing that you can really do. Your mind may start to shift and you become more accepting that you are deserving of what it is that you want and that you have the capacity to do so. So that's why, you know, it may seem like, it may seem like something really vain or shallow, but this is real, girl. This is how we build up our inner resources. This is one of the ways that we conquer the inner game. And then the final thing for why having a beauty practice is really important to boost your own self-image is because it helps to create this emotional regulation. That ties back to conquering the inner game. Not only are you able to really build your own inner resources, but what happens is that you're able to move forward with a sense of calm and confidence. And this is another thing that we do inside private coaching. So this is something that you're considering and you know that you want to start attracting and going on dates with men that you're really excited about within the next 90 days or less, then let's talk. Ooh, that looks good. That looks good. Ta-da-da! Excuse all the ash and the glue. But yeah, I did that. Cheers.